of having your platform taken down. And I love Anchor specifically because it is a platform that's allowing me to show who I truly am and an opportunity to get things that I want to say out to the public without risk of backlash and getting my hand slapped with probation and things of that nature. So if you want to give Anchor a try, this is the time. You can soar with your stories and your podcast. Let's go. Oh yeah, it's that time again, y'all. It is that time again, y'all. So hit that like button, y'all. And down and share this podcast. Go ahead and leave a comment. What's going on, y'all? Ooh, just feeling a vibe. What's going on in your life? What's going on in your life? Whatever it is you can do. You can do it. Let's go. Get into it. The battle's with the light. Let's follow. He said follow. He said share with. Come on, y'all. Support this podcast, y'all. Let's do this. We can do it together. We got another work. Let's do it. You can. We got this, y'all. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, come on in, y'all. Let's have some fun today. Thank you for tuning in to the Battles Within Life podcast. I'm your host, KeyshonneWoodsLee. I wanted today's intro to be fun and lighthearted because the topic today is very serious, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about, is artificial intelligence dangerous? Would robots in our society put our natural citizens, our organic citizens at risk? Do we want a society where these inorganic things are over us, controlling us, manipulating us, or could overpower us at any moment? Well, let's go ahead and get into this topic today, y'all. We're talking about digi-dogs, robotic maids. We're talking about robo-cops. We are talking about these sex bots out here. We're getting into it, y'all. Do y'all know that there's even some military soldiers? Like, these are things that we need to really have concern about. So first, let's go to the article that's in Forbes magazine. This is from 2018, but I thought it was relevant to today's time, being that we recently saw in the news that they are launching using these digi-dogs with police work. First of all, the way they're set up is nothing more than like using a drone. And my question to you as citizens in this society is it okay for an officer to use a drone to arrest someone? Is it okay for an officer to use a drone to go into someone's house Is this okay for an officer to use a drone? I know they're going to say that they're simply a tool used in work, but we also could bring up the point that there are artificial intelligence involved. And these intelligence can go faulty, especially if they are programmed by some white supremacists. Then this is going to be a white supremacist tool used to oppress people of color. Not just black people, but any people of color. So we have to look at this in the big picture. Everybody's always going to save money. People will have to be exposed to other people because it'll be a robot. But you have to think about, what is the downside of having a robot do a person's job? We already have people that are unable to fulfill their job duties. Then we're going to have these robots that are programmed by people. Come on now. Let's get into this article from Forbes. Now, I'm going to go up to this article. Like I said, it's an old dated article, but it's still relevant to today's times. And here it says that AI could be dangerous to society. Then there's a question mark. And it says, should we be scared of artificial intelligence, AI? Some notable individuals such as legendary physicist Stephen Hawking and Tesla and SpaceX leader and innovator Elon Musk suggest AI could potentially be very dangerous. Musk at one point was compared AI to the dangers of a dictator of North Korea. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates also believes there is a reason to be cautious, but that the good can outweigh the bad if managed properly, since recent developments have made super intelligent machines possible much sooner than intellectually thought. The time is now to determine what dangers artificial intelligence proposes. And that word was not intellectually, it was initially thought. I do apologize, y'all. Now, then they showed this technology picture. This looks like an artificial eye. And it says, what is applied in generally artificial intelligence? Now, you have to think about that because there's some level of artificial intelligence used in a calculator. However, we're talking about these machines that could possibly think for themselves, take over the world in reference to having control of weapons, having control of power grids, having control of security systems, things of that nature. And then you have these smart homes, and they're now working on smart cities. Now, if everything's connected, you could develop a computer smart enough, or a man behind the computer smart enough to take over some things. Now, that's back to who is the programmer. Is the programmer someone that's a racist? Is the programmer someone who's an antagonist, who's a terrorist? You have to think about those things. Who's in control of these artificial intelligent beings? Who's in control of the robotics? Who's in control of these artificial beings? Now, they even have some artificial robots that can be maids. They even have artificial servers for restaurants that are robots, and they only cost about, I'll say, between $3,000 to $10,000, depending on which model you want to get and what you want that model to be able to do. Now, typically, a person that owns a restaurant is going to pay a waiter or a server more than that in a year. Now, if they can save money by getting this robot and don't have to pay any benefits, a lot of employers are going to do that. But I'm the type of customer that I want to talk to real people when I'm ordering my food. So there's no mistake on my order. And if there is a mistake, there's someone accountable. You know, now there may not be a mistake at all with the robot. However, there's no communication as far as or you would have with another human being. That's missing. Now you have to ask yourself, in society, is it worth it not having that human connection? Who's going to support these companies that are going to replace people's jobs with these robots? I'm one that will not support those companies. And I hope you will join me and not support those companies as well. If a company replaces human beings with AI or robots, we're not going to purchase their products. That's what I'm saying to you today. Now, if you're going to support the movement of civilians against oppression of artificial intelligence and robotics, then you're going to ride with us and not support any company that's taking away from humanity to provide this unsustainable world for humanity by promoting the employment of robotics. So we just want to make sure that you know that's where we stand with it, because it's unfair. Where would all these people have to work if you replace everything with robotics? What type of non-emotional world are we going to have when you have robots taking the orders, or robots being the maids to people's homes? And they're also working on some robotic teachers. They said this online school's not working. They need robot teachers. Come on now. And I don't know if you all recently saw the video of the DigiDog that they're using in New York, but like I said, it's just a tool. It's not working on its own intelligence, but I'm sure they're working on that as well. But they need to have something they control, or they will not be able to use that model in that capacity at all. But I have asked everyone who has come in contact with this thing to defend themselves before it even gets started. It's not appropriate. It needs to go. It needs to go. It needs to go right now. All of it does. The maids, the sex bots, the robotics, the DigiDogs. Y'all need to keep that on the playground for kids. Nobody wants that thing up in their house. Nobody wants that thing up in their house destroying their home. Nobody wants that thing other than for a toy for their kid. We don't want it operating on our streets. So you take it right back into your garage where you got it from. Okay? Use your regular surveillance technologies and things. You have things that are much better than that, and they're not robots. And it may be some AI, but it's not AI that can lose control. So we may want to think about that as a society. But as we know, some people will compromise because they just want to feel safe. But the thing about it is, when you start putting artificial intelligence in positions of power over human beings, that's a problem. And we need to think about that. And you have a lot of things going on that just don't make no sense. In Japan, they have these places where you could go. There's robots operating everything. There's robot sex spots. There's robotics and a lot of things you don't even know. And pretty soon, we're going to have a society that's not going to be able to tell if it's a human being or a robot. Some of these things look so real, y'all, and it's getting better. And they say, oh, they're learning. Yes, they're learning by watching you. They're learning your mannerisms. They're learning your everything about you. These computers are. That's why I was saying in one of my videos, everyone needs to protect their DNA, because after a while, that's all you're going to have left, because they're tapping into everything about you. The goal is to take your consciousness, put it up on the cloud. Now, if you participate in that, that's up to you. Then they'll be putting your consciousness into AI. I don't want to participate in no Lawnmower Man activity. If you never saw that movie Lawnmower Man, you need to check it out, people. It's old, but it's amazing how movies 20, 30 years ago are really relevant to what's happening today. It's relevant. And you think, oh, wow, this will never happen. It's happening, people. It's happening. They even have these military soldier bots. And these soldier bots are something else. I tell you, you knock them down, they keep coming, because all they know is whatever their program is. And they're working on making them better and better as well. Right now, it just looks like a pile of junk, but they're only going to show us the mediocre work. I'm sure they already have some soldier bots that are much better than the ones they're allowing the public to actually see. And then I remember seeing the movie RoboCop. Oh, that wasn't nothing compared to what's about to come our way. So everyone needs to be made aware of it. As humanity, as citizens, we do have a right to protect ourselves against any foreign entity. And robots would be a foreign entity. Now, that needs to be recognized. There's no laws that protect robots, and any laws that are developed to protect robots should be diminished and dissolved. They are not human beings. there are machines, and we need to keep machines in a machine's place. Period. We need to think about that. I have some people, they're signing over their entire security system to one software artificial intelligence module. If something goes wrong with that module, they can't even get into their company's security system. And you wonder, what's the fail safe on that? I hope you have one, because if you don't, guess what? You just lost everything. And you have to think about, at what point will these things start thinking on their own? At what point will these things realize, oh, I'm a thing? Or will that ever happen? I doubt it. That's why the malfunctioning will start to happen. That's why the useless deaths will happen using these products in the midst of trying to service human beings. There was a story that came out, and